everyone. Welcome to Hump Day Happy Hour, hosted by Dennis in the Know. This is the new guy with the new voice. Yes, Influenza A, where you can get that smooth jazz voice. That's where I got it now. So, anyway, we are the Dennis in the Know, and this is the webcast where dentistry meets real talk, real news, and just the right amount of sarcasm. We're pulling back the curtain on the industry. We're talking to the experts, the innovators, and the everyday clinicians who are out there doing the work. There's no fluff, no filter, and definitely no sales pitches disguised as education. If it's happening in dentistry, from clinical insights to regulatory curveballs or maybe the latest scandal at the AIDA, we are probably already talking about it. And yes, we are bringing the goods. So whether you're a seasoned doc, part of a dental team, maybe part of the industry, a curious consumer, or maybe you're just here for the banter, we welcome you all to the show, because around here, we are not just in the loop. We are in the know. Hey there, everyone. I'm Dr. Jeff Horowitz, accompanied by two amazing clinicians and friends, Dr. Chad Duplantis and Dr. Jennifer Bell. We are fresh off of a trip from Mexico, and we were in Cabo together. Absolutely gorgeous out there. AIDA Aspire had their annual meeting, and it was absolutely incredible. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but for right now, the three of us, we created this platform to make the dental world just a little bit smaller and a lot more fun. Today, we have a great topic. We're going to be talking about keeping dentists independent and how dentists can stay independent.
All right. So tonight we're really going to focus on the independent dental practice. And I want to really bring on my good friend, Scott Boldt. Scott is with Midwest Dental, and Midwest Dental is a part of AIDA, as is Getsy, Atlanta, and Nashville Dental. However, due to my geographic location, I was stuck with Midwest Dental. And that's how I met Scott. All kidding aside,
it was weird how you started that support group that one time.
Yeah, I did start that support group. But anyways.
Are you stuck with Midwest too?
Anyways, Midwest, for those of you that don't know, is a name that you may not recognize. It's not going to be one of your larger dental distributors, but in my opinion, it's the best. Scott, you've been with my practice for the past 15 plus years, let's say. I think that's a conservative guesstimate. We have not only become, business acquaintances, but I like to call you a dear friend. You're a great human being. You've got 3 kids. You've been married to a beautiful woman for, I'm going to say 20 plus years, at least that. You guys, I lovingly refer to you as the Partridge Family, because you have a family band. All of your kids are musically inclined, which is a hell of a lot more than I could say for my family. You guys have a loving home, a loving environment that you've raised your kids in. And beyond that, you're one heck of a dental salesperson. But more so than that, you're just a friend to everybody that you meet. And you really, really believe in the independent practitioner and in cutting costs and helping people realize their potential in dental practice in as many ways as they possibly can. So welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you here. And thank you so much for being here tonight.
And we missed you in Cabo this year.
Oh, yeah. I was disappointed, especially after hearing about the good time and the pictures that I saw. First of all, Chad, thank you so much. Those feelings are mutual. Getting to know you over the last, more than a decade, almost 2 decades, has been a real pleasure. Seeing how you've grown in your practice, seeing you just as a dad, and watching you with your son and your daughter as they've now gone off to college, and just. You were there for me also when my dad passed away, which, everyone locally here knows that my dad was big in the dental sales world. And so I just want to tell you thank you, because that's been a great relationship. You've been a great mentor. There's been so many people I've sent to you, other clinicians, and you've willingly helped them. And I also want to thank you, Jeff, and Jennifer, for having me on this show today. So I am very passionate about what the title of this show is, which was Maintaining Independence: How Private Dental Practice Can Thrive in a Corporate Era. I feel like that's kind of my calling right now in my 40s, having done this for 23 years. It's I look at my children that you mentioned, that my son's 17 and my daughters are 16 and 14. And when I look at them, I want them to have opportunities that we've all had, which is to own something. And being able to own something is, I think, a right that everyone should be able to have. And what I've just seen in other industries and our industry, with more of the rise of DSOs and private equity, I'm here to help those independent practitioners, and I'm looking forward to talking about that today.
Well, I'm glad that you're here to talk about that today. Who wants to kick off the first question? Because I got a bunch.
I have a bunch too.
JB,
You want me to do it? Okay.
now that your mouth's full, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, Scott. Could you narrow it down to like one or two things that independent practitioners could do tomorrow? Like simple things that would help them continue on an autonomous journey that might help them not succumb to the financial pressure of the decision to sell to a DSO.
Yes. Boy, that's gonna be hard to narrow down to a couple, but let me
I know,
let
yeah,
me take
you
a stab
can
at
take
it.
liberty here. You can take liberty.
They should call me in Midwest. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. First of all, from a human level, let me say is, don't give in to the fear. Just, there's so much of, you know, the DSOs. Actually, let me bring something up. There's a great podcast that I would love to share on this show that was brought to me by an Atlanta dental rep, actually, Jacob, and it's called Just Say No to the DSO. Y'all might have heard of it. Bob Spiel is an MBA and Nate Williams is a CPA, and they're the hosts of this show. I encourage your listeners to listen to it because, first of all, they're showing why dentists should own the work of their hands. That's kind of the premise of their show. And they go into actual threats, and then they go into why being independent is good. So, number one, to answer your question is, I think that not giving into fear and keeping your mental headspace about it right, because I've been calling in the DFW area in Texas for about 23 years. And you can thrive having an independent practice in a corporate area because I call on them every single day and they're thriving great. So that was the number one thing I would say. And then the second thing is to have a real open communication. If you do have a rep or you have a trusted partner in business like that, have real open communication. There's so many times that I'll go into different offices and they'll go, hey, we're spending too much, or, I'm needing, it's funny you brought up during the news, the HIPAA, the new HIPAA. That's what I was talking about all today in my territory, actually this week, just bringing up the February 16th deadline. And, just having that communication, and I was sharing with a bunch of people, and most offices I went in were not aware, honestly. And just helping them grow as a business, making sure that they are doing the things that they need to do. And when you're over at a DSO, that's not necessarily the case. They're not, because I call on DSOs as well. So it's not, they do have some streamlined processes, but you can do the exact same thing over in an independent practice. So I guess the first thing I would say is, is that having that open communication. And when I say, let me clarify that a little bit. I'll go into an office, say, hey, we need to save money, and maybe they're ordering from mail order places all over the place. But if they work with us as a team and we have inside personnel that are trying to, work with the different manufacturers to leverage their buying power, we can get them in a better situation than they are from buying from 10 different mail order companies.
100% agree with you. And I think the other piece of that, if I could just interject a little bit of my own personal journey, is that it's okay to re-envision what you thought would be successful. Like, we all start business at different points in our journey, and we build based on different market advice or whatever might be going on or being very successful at the time. But what has been very consistent in just about every interview that we have done on this podcast with anyone who's probably over 50, if I had to kind of like put them in a bucket, they've reinvented themselves maybe once or twice, meaning they had to kind of dare to see that the thing that they thought would make them successful in their 20s was different than what they thought would make them successful in their late 30s, which was different than what they thought would make them successful in their 50s. And I think part of your independent journey is kind of not being pigeonholed to that concept of, yeah, but I've always done it this way. And it's always been successful up to this point, and now it's not working anymore. And having someone like you, Scott, to come in and say, okay, well, let's relook at it. Like, let's re-envision it. Let me show you 4 other offices that have done the same thing. And this is trials and tribulations and the things that they've done. I think that's the partnership with a rep. Scott, how many offices do you walk in a week?
Oh, I walk in about 100 total over about a 3-week period of time.
Do you know how many that we
you
walk
had 3
into?
customers.
Yes, that's what I told you. Make you feel special.
Okay.
Yeah, but do you know how many that Chad, Jeff, and I walk into on a given week? 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
1.
true.
So you have such a unique perspective on things that are working, things that aren't working. You also get a lot of intel on highs and lows of the market. That's where your partnership with your vendors and your reps becomes so invaluable. They're seeing so much more. Their world is so much bigger than ours. We live in a very microcosm, an island, really. Don't we, Chad and Jeff? Like, it's fairly isolating.
Yeah. And my take on this is everyone always equates the relationship with their dental dealer as, I need these supplies. Here's how much I'm spending on these supplies.
No way.
And it is like, that's the part that blows me away, because the very best you're ever going to do is cut a percentage point off, so you may be talking about 1% of your gross sales or your gross production for the or collection, excuse me. So when you start talking about that amount of money, which is, compared to some of the other places that you can save a buck somewhere, first of all, there's so many other ways to do it. But second of all, these are the people that are going to tell you the better way to save $1. And they're going to offer you, they're going to say, hey, we have these other resources for you. Have you ever thought about doing this with your business? Have you ever thought about doing this with your marketing? Oh, your compressor went down? Let me make sure someone is in your office today with another compressor. And every little penny that you just saved by going to a catalog, you just made back triple because you got to have your production for the day. It goes so far beyond that, that little bit of savings. And guess what? I mean, these people also have ways to save you money on the items, but, saving a half of a cent on some cotton rolls is not where you're going to become a more successful clinician. It's going to be on the perspectives that these people see going to the hundreds of offices, like you said, Jennifer. I think we got to stop this thinking that our dental dealers are, just there to supply us with merchandise.
So 2 quick stories that come to mind, Jeff. The first one is you and I were involved on this on Thursday night of last week. We were sitting there at Hibachi, and I won't mention any names, but there was a sales representative that said, this company has me beat by $200. How do I compete with that?
We both thought you don't get it.
Yeah. And the thought was, there's no competition.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships. I can't tell you how another company could have me beat or Midwest could have me beat, because it's all about relationships. But you hit another nail on the head, because the second point is that I have a leak in Op 3. I call Midwest and they say, we'll be there tomorrow at 8 a.m. I call Scott and Scott's like, they will be there today by 3.
Yep.
That's what we're missing. And these are two very realistic experiences that I can relate to. And the thing is it's not because Scott calls and rips somebody a new one. Scott calls and says, hey, this is a great customer. We've got to get this person taken care of. And it's this, I'm gonna switch gears here and say, this might be an Atlanta. It might be written on Atlanta's wall, but it's on the hearts of AIDA, and that's in the heart of Midwest for sure. Relationships matter.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about to me. It's about a relationship. And a lot of people don't get that.
Let me jump in there and tell a story about that, actually, because with sales reps, they do get a bad rap, and there's a few bad apples that have spoiled it for the bunch.
Same with Dennis.
Right. And so there was a thread I was reading that had about 80 something dentists on it, and they were just bashing supply companies and supply reps, and read through each and every one of them, and every single one of them was a dentist, or supposedly. And it was really disappointing to see that that's how they felt, because number one, this is a credibility issue. How do I build trust? And trust is only built over time through relationships. And so when I see, say, a DSO move across the street, or another one, or 2 or 3 or 4 from an independent practice, and the doctor's bringing it up to me and they're fearful, number one, there's nothing to be fearful about, because they a lot of times end up getting those patients. So that's not really a threat. But I'm in their corner because my stated goal, my personal values, my beliefs is that I want to see that practice thrive. So this goes to the story. When I started signing up my clients, my current client base that was already buying their supplies from me, I was already getting their business. And this was about 10 years ago. And Chad, you were one of them. I came to them and said, hey, I'm going to save you money. And a lot of them looked at me and said, well, why? Because it was, $2,000, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000. And they go, you're going to make less. And I said, well, it's the right thing to do, number one, because how am I going to go out and acquire a new customer, and then my current customer is not getting these same benefits? So number one, that's how Midwest operates. That's how I operate. That's what we do for our clients. And then furthermore, what do I do every year? And this is something that I'd love to get into here, is we do these alternative proposals. So once you are part of our program and you're part of that overarching group of independent dentists with AIDA, we can then go to you and we do a review, and we look at, we're having that communication and saying, hey, if you'll share with me your numbers, your collections, or sometimes we even go over the profit and loss sheets, then we can get exactly where you need to be, because we're negotiating constantly with the manufacturers. And then we'll do alternative proposals. Maybe we'll start on your disposables, or then we'll go to your preventatives, things that are not quite as critical as, say, your restorative materials. And we'll go, if you switched to these items, like I have one right here that I have printed off for a customer that I did. And if they just switched some of their products, and they don't have to switch all these, we do a little at a time. Let's do these 5 products. Let's do these 10. Over the year, they just say, not on top of the savings they already have being an AIDA member, they're going to save another $4,100. And so, and then after we do those, if we're happy, if they're not happy, then we go to another category of products. Hey, let's look at, your rotary. So there's things, the more, that's what I meant by the communication, that I'd mentioned earlier. The more you communicate, we're going to get you to the numbers that you need to be at. And I know not every rep is like that, but there are plenty of reps that are out there like that. And just that even the example I gave went out, let's see, I've got around 70 AIDA customers. And if I'm calling on 100 customers, for me to switch 70 of them over to AIDA, when I did that, yeah, and if they were ordering, 40,000, 60,000, and now they're only ordering 35,000 or 55,000 or 50,000 less. Yeah, my numbers will go down, but what I'm doing is I'm helping them be more competitive in this marketplace, which is going to help them survive and ultimately stay in business, stay with me, and be able to compete.
And sing your praises to the world. I mean, that's the piece of that everyone's, it's like, when someone has a relationship like that, it's, I'm going to send everyone I know to that business, and it's how we do business.
I have to jump in because I had such a huge light bulb moment when you said what you just said, Scott, which is a lot because I'm way smarter than the other two yahoos on this program. So when I have a light bulb moment, that's a real moment. Kidding. Listen, what you just said resonated so well. What do we harp on? I mean, there's two ways to make your business profitable. You either increase the revenue or you decrease expenses. Like, it's kind of the basic parameter. And every year we're pushing. You should be doing fee reviews. Chad, this was in your lecture. Fee reviews, looking at your contracts with your insurance companies. Why are we so protective on the expense side to say, hey, Scott, you're my rep. Here's the reality. I've got to find 0.5% or something because
it's the easiest.
Well, Delta Dental and these other companies aren't negotiating. And if I change my in-network status or do something different, that's going to be a fundamental shift in my practice. So I've got to look at all aspects, both on the expense side and on the revenue side, to see what makes the most sense. What a partnership that could be to work with your rep to say, can we relook at all the products I'm buying, look at the preventative, look at the consumables, look at the restorative. Is there any savings that could be happening? This should be an annual thing, Chad, just like what you said, fee reviews and contract reviews, renegotiations with your insurance companies. You should be having the same conversation with your rep to say, okay, let's take a look. New year, new me. I'd like to look and see what opportunities might exist. And that's such a missed conversation that nobody's really talking about.
I completely agree.
Why?
But instead, what it is, hey, will you give me a discount? Or hey, will you match this price? And which are natural things. Hey, they have it cheaper over here in onesies, twosies, threesies, or hey, I'm going to just go order off the site. Where instead, if you're drilling down into the numbers with your trusted rep. They have to be trusted and showing this is where I need to be. And you're even working with their accountant. How many times have I gone into a customer and they go, hey, we're spending too much. And I said, great. What's your budget? I don't know.
Right.
The doctor never gave me a budget. And I was like, well, how do you know if you're spending too much? There was one, and we looked into it, and the doctor was below 4% their expenses. And I was like, some DSOs would kill to be at this number. So I'm not sure if you're spending too much.
Or if the doctor is. I'm just saying.
Okay. So let's throw this out there. This is gonna be crazy because Scott, you and I are on the same page on DSOs. We had a long conversation last week. And I think that DSOs have a time and a place, but I think you also need to evaluate your time and your place in your dental career to determine whether or not it's the right move for you. So I don't knock anybody for going to a DSO. I just sometimes question their motive. However, if we really break down AIDA, I just want to throw this out there. Just throw it out there. AIDA is a DSO.
Of course it is.
However, You still maintain full autonomy. You still maintain every single decision within your practice. They have no control over your practice whatsoever. You don't pay them any money other than the money that you pay on an annual basis to be a member. And you get a rebate, which covers that cost at a minimum.
Well, I mean, what does it cost to be a member?
The reason that they're classified as a DSO is because they get you the better pricing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And so you still could join a DSO if you so decide to. I don't recommend it, but you could still do it.
But now, it is a DSO that doesn't want to own a piece of your practice. They want you to reap the rewards of your hard work.
Absolutely. So, Scott, what are we looking for tonight? What do we have to offer?
Yeah, here's the difference too. Just and I'll get into that. Is
no, go for it.
You're right. It is a DSO, and you hit the nail on the head. We are a DSO because we're a group, but you're correct to go to the different manufacturers, whether it's GC, Ferrari, Kerr, Septidon, all of those, and for them to give us the tiered pricing that they're giving the DSOs.
Yep.
From me, the difference is, when I'm driving down the street and I'm looking at my kids in the rearview mirror, my young adults, and now thinking about how they're going to, we see on the side of the road how there's all this multi-unit housing everywhere, just everywhere. And we're becoming renters in a nation of renters. And like, I can go off on a tangent on that, but it's kind of the same thing. And so they're not having the ability, those young people, to own. And that's where the difference is same thing with the private practice. The more and more that we just sell to the private equity and the DSOs, the less that our children and our future generations are going to have a chance to own things. And they're going to be a generation of employees. And so now to go into what you were saying, Chad, that the way this works is within our group. Again, we have the AIDA membership. It's $295, and you get the discounts that we're talking about. But the way we do it is we like to get on a Zoom with you, and then if you're here locally, then or where we have our reps here locally across Texas and Oklahoma. Then of course we do it in person, but anywhere else throughout the United States, then we do Zoom, and we that's where the communication comes key. Is if you're willing to share, hey, this is where we want to be, this is what we buy. We have a special services team that drills down into all of this. I work closely with some other members of the team where we look and we get with, again, those manufacturers. We look like, oh, hey, look, they order a lot of Fuji and Fujisim, or I'm just making stuff up, with GC, and we go to them, and then we go to another manufacturer, and then we look at everything and see how we can get different contracts with stuff. Go back to the office and go, this is what we can do for you. Let me send you sample packs and see what you think of this. And then over time, we keep drilling down to get where they want to be, because it's a partnership. It's not, hey, let me just spit some numbers at you. Let me see your buying history and throw a number at you. And here we go. Because yeah, we can do that and we can sell you supplies, but that's not what this membership's about. So we also have plenty of third-party organizations that also you get discounts on, that we can help recommend if you're having certain pain points within your practice as well. So the thing I would like to stress is the best way to do this is we sit down, share those numbers together, go over them, and show you what we can do. We were working with some different offices actually throughout the United States, and they've ordered from all sorts of different companies. And they've told us, right, we've never had somebody do this before with us.
That is such an impactful process to be educated, to be guided, to make better consumer. Because if you take the top 5 or 10 dental manufacturers of resins, bonding agents, blah blah blah, they're all very good. Like none of them are putting out crap. They're all doing very well. And honestly, like probably between Jeff, Chad, and I, we have one product that we would never live without. Like it's the product we love the most. Then we don't care about the other 10 or 15 other things that that same company probably also makes. And then we're buying from 17 different manufacturers to fill in the gaps. It's that type of institutional knowledge, that ability to look at a spreadsheet, which most doctors are not going to do, to find commonalities and cost savings that, and for the price that what you're, I mean, it's dumb, frankly, if you're not taking advantage of this opportunity. And especially if your aim is to remain independent and to be competitive, like that's 100% the biggest leverage on a DSO is their ability to negotiate these contracts for cheaper prices. But Scott, you hit the nail on the head. They're not negotiating it based on, well, you know, Jen likes Fuji and Chad likes Kerr and Jeff likes 3M or Solventum. Like they're just negotiating across the board. This is on average what we're buying across all of our 22, 32, 472 practices. And that's what it is. You're talking about a very customized approach for an independent practitioner to actually get the discounts that mean something to them, that are really incremental to their bottom line. I love it.
And I know that JB and Jeff probably know this story, and Scott does too now as well. But as we started talking about this relationship, there was a very simple diagram that came out. And it was on one of the most commonly used items within the dental practice. I don't have it with.
Just send it to me so we can share it.
No, I certainly will. I certainly will. But it was on bonding agent. Okay, something that we use day in, day out. Probably the most. It's like two things that we use on a daily basis.
Every day.
The most.
Yeah.
Etch and bonding agent. And this diagrammatic comes out, and I'm like, holy crap, we're using this, and to use this, and I'm not talking it was a 20% savings. It was like a 40 to 50% savings, and Scott knows this because I ordered two of the competitors on that sheet based upon the diagrammatic that was sent to us, Dentists in the Know, to promote this deal. And I'm like, this is going to save me a boatload of money.
Yep.
Because this is the most commonly used thing in our practice. And it wasn't like Nike versus Kmart brand shoes. It was apples to apples.
Yeah.
That's what I want to stress to everybody. This is apples to apples, folks. It's not Nordstrom versus Walmart if you were there on Saturday. It is apples to apples, and that is the most important thing that we need to understand. We're finding you competitive products with great research and backing that are potentially going to save you a lot of money.
But here's the other deal, is that I don't think most people understand that when you talk about the breadth of the AIDA group, when you combine the 24 states and all of the practices that are involved in this now, if we're calling this a DSO, then this is the largest DSO in the country right now.
100%.
100%.
Right? So when you talk about bargaining power and you talk about, you know, these companies are going to come to the table. And along with being the biggest DSO, you now have someone behind you that doesn't want to own a piece of your business.
Right.
So it's kind of like the best of both worlds there. So, and I'm sorry, I jumped in on you, Scott. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, that's fine. It's just there's so many companies that have different programs to save you money, or they have platforms now, you know, or AI to shop for the lowest price. I realize that. But where this one's different is what Chad just said. You know, that's that alternative proposal I was referring to. That thing he was talking about with the bonding agent, but we do that on a bigger level. You know, not only at the beginning when we first come to a new client, we show, hey, here's your savings. Here's the formulary items. You don't have to switch any product. This is what we're getting, any discounts anywhere from 5 to 40%. But then after that, that's where the partnership really gets going, because then we start drilling down as much as the doctor wants to. If they don't want to switch anything, that's fine. But if they're going, hey, I want to be at this percentage, I want to be able to do this, we have that ability to work in partnership, where these other platforms, it's just simply, hey, let's just shop for the lowest price. I get that and I understand, because I'm a shopper and I shop for low prices too. But when it becomes a business partnership to compete against everyone around you, because again, we're all getting squeezed, we got human people, human eyes with the same values on their hearts, looking to keep you in business. So we want to see you succeed. So again, I just want to go back to, you're like, oh, these supply companies, they just want to sell you something. Yeah, there is those guys that are like that. That's not Midwest, and that's definitely not me.
I think that's a great point to close on. I think we have just had a lot of points as to why you should look into something like this. But tonight, our charge is that we have the opportunity for four doctors or four offices to join AIDA for free for 1 year.
Did you say free?
I said free. I said free.
So how much does it cost?
It's free.
For you, $2.99.
For free?
So basically,
everyone else for free.
So basically, our charge tonight is that we're asking four doctors or four offices to come forward and say, hey, I want to save money on my supplies. I want to save my money on services that are offered to my practice. Yet it gets a little bit better, because if you feel compelled to do so and you take this challenge on and you go through the analysis and you decide this is something that you want to do, not only will it be free, this company is going to pay you to be part of this program, because next year, after we go through the whole year, you'll get a rebate. And my rebate has been nothing short of 3 times my expense to be a member of the program every single year, year in, year out. So we're offering this to 4 doctors tonight. Now the $295 is nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's chump change.
You'll get that in CE through AIDA Education.
That's true.
By itself.
It's the auxiliary.
Education.
Yeah.
It's the fringe benefits that pay for it immediately. But I promise you, it will be a drop in the bucket as to what you save over the year. Don't short yourself. Just look into this opportunity. This is something that we're honored to be a part of, and we hope that you will look into it as well.
You know, the whole reason we have a membership fee is, number one, because we want the doctor to have skin in the game. When they have skin in the game, then they're more apt to use it and to really get involved with us so that it is successful. Because the last thing we'd want them to do is you sign up for something and then they just do a few things, are like, I didn't really see the value in that. So we want you to be all in. And then secondly, we had to hire a whole lot of people in our special services department that are doing this negotiating every day, that are doing all this data collection. I remember 20 years ago, I used to sit at my coffee table when my kids were babies and do it myself. And it's the industry's changed. So there's a cost associated to that to do it well.
And these are fantastic products. It's all name brand products. We're not trying to sell you a bill of goods, but
a rubber dam made in Dad's garage.
Hey, I'm gonna say that you join and you become part of a fun ass community.
Yeah.
Like, we've done this. We've been in Mexico for 3 years.
Did you say fun ass or funny ass?
No, fun. I mean, like fun.
A little bit of both.
Community.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
No, I mean, seriously, we've spent 3 years on AIDA trips, and to the annual meeting, the Aspire meeting. And there's already such an incredible sense of community. How many repeat faces have we seen? People learning together, talking about how where areas that they found savings, and we learn as much from our community as we do, from the educators that we listen to. And
honestly, it's always the hot tub sesh.
It is. It's the hot tub.
Every single year, there's a hot tub sesh that goes down between a few of us speakers and like a cohort of dentists and vendors and partners, and that's where the real education starts.
Yeah. Well, you can also learn a lot about myofascial pain if you're Chad, but
a lot
about myofascial pain. Sorry. Inside joke. Sorry about that, Scott. We'll fill you in.
And on that note,
I heard Aspire. I was at the last couple. Unfortunately, I wasn't at this one, but I heard a little shout out here because I think both of these individuals brought close to 20 clinicians each. Andy Priola with Atlanta Dental and Eric Swarbar, my friend here at Midwest.
Wow.
They were, they were sharing pictures and their experiences, and it sounds like y'all just killed it this year. So looking forward to next year in Cabo.
Yes.
So much fun. Yeah.
It was fantastic. And folks, please look into AIDA. We would love to have you as part of the team. If you're geographically not located with Scott, we will find your geographic location, and we will find the appropriate person for you. But there's a lot of opportunity for all of us to really be the best practitioners we can and minimize our overhead. So please look into it. And we have a special offer for you. It'll be dropped tomorrow. And hey, folks, I just want to thank Scott for being here tonight. I want to thank Midwest and AIDA for partnering with the show. And I'll say what I said earlier. Being an independent practitioner is very hard. Dentistry can be very, very lonely. And I'm going to put 3 dots after that and say, only if you make it that way. And the reason being is because if you partner with the right people, i.e. AIDA, or one of the distributors associated with AIDA, it becomes a wonderful community and a wonderful environment to work within. We can be the best that we can be. We can minimize our overhead, but the only way is if we work together and we work for a common goal. So with that, folks, that's the show. Partner with AIDA, and we would love to help every single one of you to save money on your overhead immediately. Thanks, folks.
Good night, John
Good night.
Boy.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
And that wraps up another podcast for Dentists in the Know. On behalf of Dr. Jennifer Bell, Dr. Chad Duplantis, and myself, remember that we've got a great profession, so let's make it a great day, Dinks.